What is going on, everybody? Final day of the regular season. Let's lock in and let's get after it. We have not many games that matter today, but it's all good. It is all good. Let's wrap up the regular season on a high note. Yesterday was an annoying day. Panthers cover the spread but don't win outright. That's definitely understandable. Long shots. We were pretty close on the long shots with Kittle finishing just short. That would have cashed a 4-leg lay, but it doesn't matter. New day. And let's get right after it, boys. There's a couple of plays that I have locked in this morning that are still available, so I want to run through those really quickly. These are actually main lines here. First things first, I locked in. Dude, it is unbelievable, Foss. First of all, welcome in. Happy New Year. Hope you had a great holiday. And it is insanely impossible to believe that's already week 18 of the NFL season. I am honestly in shock, but it's all right because we have the best parts of the postseason coming up. But let's make sure that today we are taking advantage of every single snap that is left and enjoying it as much as possible. But boys, first things first, I bet the Raiders plus this 4.5 right here. I got it actually at 110. As you can see, it's right here at DraftKings, but this is the first game line I locked in. Now, there was some game line money that came in on the Raiders, but it doesn't really push the line too much. There's been a lot of money moves. This Pollard was EV for a second there, but Raiders plus 4.5. Did you get Pitt plus 3.5? I did not. I was too slow to the draw. I did not get in on Pitt plus 3.5 today, unfortunately, but I'll go through everything that I did get in on, and there are some numbers that are still good to go. First one being this Raiders plus 4.5 I got in on. The Pitt plus 3.5 at DK, it's still there. Plus 110. Excuse me, minus 110. Let's pull this up because I actually might get in on it right now. I'm actually very interested in Pittsburgh today. I think that Baltimore is definitely overrated here, and Pittsburgh plus 3.5 right now. I see it, and I'm betting this right now for tonight's game. So, yep, I did get in on Pitt plus 3.5. What's going on, fam? What's going on? I'm curious what you got going on today, fam, because I know that you're all over some of the incentive stuff and other things like that. So I'm curious where you ended up landing for today on some things. I have no idea what to bet on. I kind of feel that too, outside of like what we see on the EV screen. I'm watching some news come in on Underdog and seeing who's getting ruled out and all things like that, watching the market move as well. And today's going to be a dig deep down the board kind of situation there. So very interesting. Was up at 4 a.m. and I saw anytime TDs for Christian Kirk and Jaden Higgins pop. Thought that was strange, but less so now that Collins is rolled out. Somebody knew something. I'm glad you mentioned that last part, that last sentence right there. Somebody knew something. This is why I'm honestly chasing more steam today on game lines, and I'm going to pull up some other game lines I bet right now so you guys can get in. So number one, Raiders plus 4.5, Steelers plus 3.5. Less before I get to that comment though, quickly. I also bet the Colts plus the 10.5. This one looks like it might be gone though. I still like it at 10. I got it at 115, but I also bet the Colts. And this is a good segue because, like you just said, Foss, I'm never trying to fade game day money any week of the NFL. Of course, the market's efficient, and those big game day moves are going to be honestly, probably haven't even hit it like a great rate so far this season, but are worth noting that big sharper bettors got in on that. This week 18, I'm definitely chasing more sharp steam, especially today on game day, because if we're this deep into the season as we are, and things are moving on week 18 where people are sitting out, people are maybe getting limited snaps, people are healthy scratches, people are a little bit banged up, getting scratched. Those are the kind of moves that I'm trying to back in on. So I'm trusting that the market to wrap it all up, somebody knew something. Somebody knows something that I don't know, that the market didn't know just yet, that the general public does not know. The information asymmetry clearly there. So I'm definitely chasing some steam today. I'll be plain and simple with how I break that down. It's there's no secrets here. This plus 10 and 105 for the Colts is also a good bet. I did get the 10.5, so hopefully we land at least at 10 for you guys to cash, or at least 9. But I bet the Colts plus 10.5. So this is still good to go. And let me pull up the rest of my bets because I have 2 more game lines I bet, if I'm not mistaken. So Steelers plus 3.5, Colts plus 10.5, Raiders plus 4.5. Now let's go to a total here. I have a total that I bet as well that looked like it was some steam. Like I was definitely just chasing some market steam, and hopefully that it's still there for you guys right now, because this was about like 10 minutes ago. I was just been on the screen just for the last hour, realistically. Um, Total points here. If you've been watching the market, then you know which one I'm about to call out now, because it did move. But I bet Tennessee and Jacksonville under 47.5, minus 115, and does not seem to be available at 47.5 anymore. Let's see if there's a 47 out there. This 47, 112, excuse me, 120 at MGM is still good. So I would still definitely bet in on this 47.5. But Titan Jags under 47, I locked in. And last but not least, this is definitely a bit of a homer play, so you guys already know what I'm going to talk about. But there was some commie steam, and instead of taking the points, I just took the money line. I got in at plus 160, plus 170 at Caesars, or excuse me, at DraftKings. It did move. There's a 170 at Novik. There's some liquidity you could take if you want to tail there. But commies, the Birds are playing their backups. They already mentioned that, going down to probably like third strings at this point. And I am intrigued by the Commanders today. I think that they might be able to wrap up the season on a high note. The 3.5 points are probably better off taking, but I did just go with the money line there. So those are the game lines that I locked and loaded. Commies money line, the Colts plus 10.5, Titans Jags under 47.5, Raiders plus 4.5, and now Steelers plus 3.5. We locked and loaded. Steelers, what about Houston's minus 6.5 first half spread versus Indy? Let's take a look at that. So Nico Collins is not playing, and I think for the team like the Texans, this is going to be a situation where like they're already so offensively challenged, like we're well aware of, that I'm honestly wouldn't be shocked if the Texans somehow lose this game. I know Riley Leonard's playing. I know he hasn't been, getting burned. They literally hired Grandpa to play over him, but I think that the Colts are definitely going to give the Texans kind of like a run for their money here. I'm not going to lie. I would do it. I mean, that's all you need to know, fam. Like the incentive stuff at this point, because one, it's everybody knows about it. They have these influencer accounts that don't make any money betting that have been tweeting about incentives for 3 weeks already. Schefter last night went on an incentives roll. He, put some things out to market that if they weren't priced in, now they're definitely priced in. If they were priced in, just some redundant info. But the incentive stuff's, brother, fam, and everybody listening, it's chalked. It's chalked. The only way to bet incentive stuff now is to fade at this point in time where we're at. We're at today. And AEC, this minus 104 for Texans first half is a good price. Like this is a good bet. So I'm not gonna talk you off that. I think there could definitely be a world where the Texans try to come out, swinging and firing, getting a pretty big lead, hopefully leaving the back door open for the Colts. This is a game, just for everyone who's not sure. This game does matter because the Texans can win the AFC South with a win and a Jaguars L. Obviously, Jaguars are playing Tennessee. They know that the win gets them the South, so I'm sure they're going to be fighting as hard as they can. And the Titans, of course, are the Titans. But this is a game where I hope, like from like a perspective of like the Texans are definitely going to try to come out and be hot and turn up to start the game. This 104 is a good price in the market. With that being said, I think that the Texans, with their like limited offensive firepower, I'm curious to see without Nico Collins if they really can get out to a big lead and hold it. Yeah, that defense can put up a pick six and a fumble six in the first half. Obviously, knowing how good they are, that's a possibility here. But from pricing and market, that is a good bet. So don't mind that at all. But there's one play that I want to call out. Now, this is not an incentive bet. I still hate Philip Rivers. Not over it. Me too, bro. That would have been a nice ass bonus bet, but it is what it is, man. He did what he had to do. We did all right with him without him. Just that one play would have been beautiful. But in terms of incentives, and also I wouldn't call it an incentive, but I guess like a milestone, like of course, like 1,000 yards, 1,000 rushing yards, all those kind of amazing things here. There's only one that I think is kind of a free square. And like this is gonna, nothing's a free square ever. But this is not an incentive, but I think a little bit of an overlooked bit of potential worth betting here. Justin Jefferson is 53 yards away from 1,000 receiving yards. Justin Jefferson has obviously had a, tough season in the sense of the quarterbacks he's had to freaking play with, and it's really hurt his ability to, have a great season. Obviously, the Vikings are out of the playoffs. This moved to 378. This was actually 303 literally 10 minutes ago, so this is annoying, so I didn't get in. But Minus 378 for Jetta's 50 plus receiving yards. Again, he needs 53 to hit his 1K yards on the season. Considering one, who he is, two, what he means to that team, three, everything that he's put up with, four, his comments in the media last week, and obviously five being KOC's ability to scheme up defense, and then six being the Packers' ability to not perform well. I am including, I'm not sure which leg we're including it in yet, if it's just a two-legger, but I'm definitely including Jefferson 50-plus receiving yards. Eric, you're going to try to tell me to bet on I'm not even trying to answer if I know what you're trying to say. McCarthy, yep, I think that there is some 9 backing to be done in the form of Justin Jefferson. Fucking Myles Garrett, 2+ sacks, plus 160, that being so low. Yes, JJ McCarthy's horrible, but this is not about skill. This is Justin Jefferson who can 50 yards after the catch himself. I'm expecting 10 targets for Jefferson. Like, I am expecting this to be a concerted effort to give Justin Jefferson the ball, whether that be on wide receiver screens, what they've been doing really well with him over the middle on some quick slants. I don't think Jefferson needs to be, running 90-yard, post routes or fades down the sideline looking for Jet Evans to hit him down deep. They're going to be scheming action for Justin Jefferson. So, little quick ramble there. Now let's try to find some EV stuff. I've been talking for too much. Let's find some EV bets, but that is something that I'm definitely going to be adding into a lay, even though it has such low odds or high odds, if we want to look at it. I'm all in on Jefferson, but let's see what we got from just the EV screen quickly. As we're going to get some news going, this thing has been moving pretty solidly today, so there has definitely been some movement in the market. Caleb under pass touchdowns plus 124. This looks actually really good. Not gonna lie, let's pull this up and take a deeper look here. This could definitely be a bet here, just based on the pricing in the market. Now the Bears have gotten steamed today, so there's definitely some interest in Chicago over Detroit, which I think is interesting. Obviously, Detroit not in the playoffs, Chicago is, but this still is like a pretty tough matchup. I don't think Detroit's gonna roll over and die here. With that being said, I am betting this Caleb Williams under passing touchdowns. This is a bet, so I'm locking in as we speak here. See if they get it done on the ground game. But the Bears have taken some game day money. That's absolutely true. They have ballooned out to minus 4.5 favorites. The money lines also have increased pretty greatly here. But let me get pass touchdowns under Caleb Williams under 1.5. All right, I'm in. Let's get this to tracking and let's keep ripping, boys. Let's have ourselves a final Sunday. We'll bet some first touchdowns. We'll bet some boosts. We'll see what we got. We have a bunch of good stuff there. Fail doesn't even have alt. Yup, exactly. I looked at that earlier and noticed it as well. But DraftKings is giving us an alt, so we could definitely take advantage of that. And yes, they're skipping the 50 plus, even though they could just do what everybody else is doing it and pricing it at freaking minus 330 like it is at DK. But with that being said, I'm still interested. I still think that's like kind of a free square. Now, what we bet with that is going to be a different story and a different question. But I am definitely interested in that Jefferson. Cousins under pass attempts. Now, this is interesting because the Saints, they're banged up. Olave's out. They have a lot of they've just been limited on playmakers all season long in the first place. But Kirk Cousins under pass attempts. Interesting. That's one of the games that matter. It's the funniest thing everybody knows at this point that hold on here, because this Chase Brown, it's not really good to bookmaker though, so I don't love this. Then we know the NFC South is going to be determined by two teams that have no chance of playing in the postseason, which is the funniest thing in the world, but everybody's aware of that. Already down to like 1% EVs, so we'll switch it back up here and let's look at some first tutties and some anytime tutties. Now, first tutties are going to be I won't say hard to find, but they're going to be definitely interesting because there's going to be some players on some teams scoring some touchdowns that are not even close to the usual suspects, considering where we are at this point in the season here. And see if there's any game lines that are showing some EV here, because there's definitely should be some quarter stuff as well. And we always do keep refreshing, bet all our boosts. Got some first touchdowns in. We're in a bit of a slump, which for us being 1 week of football is crazy. So let's see. We got Washington third quarter. That stuff I don't really bet. Cardinals alt spread. Saints alt minus 2.5. Got to get rid of ESPN here in this filter and switch it over to the score. Haven't been using this filter too much. Patriots first quarter minus 2.5. Minus 151 at bookmaker, and prime is probably at 151 also, taking bookmaker lines. This is actually good. 5.6% EV. First quarter spread, Patriots. This is something that I'm betting. Let's pull it up at Caesars, make sure it's there. But I have Caesars on my other computer open. I'm getting in on this if it pops up. Now Caesars does move quickly, so I'm ready to move quickly here as well. Let's see. First quarter minus 1.5. I'm betting this. Let's see. I gotta get to this market manually on my other computer. Team totals. No, quarter. First quarter minus 2.5, minus 120. Caesars is bugging on me. Location verified. All right, I'm in. Patriots, first quarter, minus 2.5, minus 120. Good EV to prime and to bookmaker, though. I have noticed that prime does kind of just like take their numbers from bookmaker. Now they're a sharper book and like they're just doing what they think they have to do there. But I think that that's just worth noting that maybe the EV, whenever it is bookmaker and prime, is a bit lower because it's quite literally the same line. So, all right, that's a good game line to lock and load. Now let's look at some things manually. I'm curious kind of like if we're going to see even pricing from like Circa on like first touchdowns or whatnot to like do what do we have to do? Prime mirrors bookmaker. Yep. Something that I learned, I guess probably too late. I should have known that, honestly. But either way, it still is good to know. I think just when it comes to like the width of, what for the EV calcs, that like it's probably not even worth doubling up on width, because if it's, EV at both shops, but they're the same prices and they're always the same prices, then it's not really, I don't think, giving us that additional piece of market information that we probably want for our EV bets here. But let's look at the games that actually matter first quickly here. Not because I think that there's an edge, but just because I'm genuinely curious. We're going to go through every game, of course. We do what we always do on our Sunday streams. Some Atlanta money coming in. I have a group chat open where I'm getting some updates, and also another odd screen on my other laptop just to see like money in real time. Looks like some under money in Chicago as well, and some Atlanta money here. So estimate he should be RB1 here at this point in the season. But I just want to look at some just straight stuff. What's Bijan anytime? Because I think Bijan obviously is going to be chalk. We'll see how chalky, because Bijan is definitely in a position today to like potentially take control of the of the offensive player of the year race. 165 at Circa, 180 at DK and FanDuel. Don't love at all, but with that being said, I think Bijan is definitely live to score today, so he's a chalky guy. Estime, let's go get his anytime touchdown. 200 at FanDuel. He got through for us last week. What's his rushing yard prop? Also worth noting that Estime was his touchdown, because we hit on it last week, was literally double what it is this week. So that's definitely worth like at least keeping in the back of our heads here. But this popped up on stream yesterday. Somebody called it out, so we bet it yesterday. I think it was 48.5 for Estime over. Yeah, it was, but it doesn't seem like it's even that great of a price at this point. But I'm interested in him a bit. No Olave, just overall skill players for the Saints are going to be limited here. So get some first touchdown stuff for this one. Obviously, just such a tough supporting cast for Shook today, with all the injuries and guys who have been hurt all year getting hurt now, not playing. What's Kyle Pitts' first touchdown? 10-1. So Pitts is in a pretty good spot here. What's Drake London, though? Because London is back and doing things here. 8-1 for London. That is actually an interesting price, honestly, for Drake London. Not that 10-1, but of course, that's good. And then Bijan Robinson is going to be, of course, I'm sure, major chalk here. Yeah, plus 360, plus 330. So not interested in Bijan first touchdown, but let's keep looking at games that matter at least a little bit here. Of course, being Ravens Steelers. If you have some boost for that, we'll definitely utilize. But there's just so little that matters today. It's just like tough. Like this Jaguars game, it matters, of course, but like the Titans, it's just like a crazy bad matchup. Parker Washington first touchdown, 10-1 across the board. Okay. Let's see who else. I mean, the Jaguars are a team that can mix it up on who scores. Tim Patrick, no. ETN, of course, going to be chalk. Yeah, 350, big time chalk. Holy crap. What's BTJ? Yeah, 1150, 9-1. And then, of course, Jacoby Myers, the freaking dog. 750, 650. Okay, so we're just not going to be finding any prices that are like going to be like knocking our socks off now because, again, we are in week 18. We're definitely going to be betting some fun stuff for the season ending, but we don't want to get too crazy anymore here. Kirk over 1.5 passing tutties plus 145. This is an absolute bet. So let's let's lock in before this moves. We obviously know Bijan is capable of scoring in the air here. So I'm locking this in. I bet this Jettas, it was at 105 plus 105. So this one is no longer good. But back to my theory on Jettas. This already 140. This is good. I'm getting in on this right now. Passing. Kirk Cousins. I don't care who he brings to the playoffs. I have no action on the NFC South. Actually, I guess I am rooting for the Panthers. I think it'd be fun for the Panthers to be in over the Bucks. Because I think when you're a team that collapses like the Bucks and you were never really that great in the first place. Oh my God. I've been betting on MGM all morning. Now it's telling me I need a location check. Brother, I've been using your app for the last hour and a half, and for the last 2 years, you're telling me I need a location check. 2 years, last 5 years. Oh my God. Let me get in on this. Oh my God. Let's go. I'm taking as much money as I can get. It's not a lot on your platform. Just let me bet. Also curious to see what the carousel looks like for the coaching. A lot of coaches I think we know are going to get fired, but there's a lot that I think should get fired. I might not. Had that issue with MGM earlier. I think they got me in finally. Brother, I've had these location checks forever. All right, we are in. I'm curious for the carousel. So Schefter just tweeted, Mike Tomlin leaning safe, Harbaugh leaning safe, Stefanski out. There's nothing I want more than the Washington Commanders to somehow come up on Kevin Stefanski as their head coach. I think whoever ends up getting Stefanski, obviously barring it being a good situation, will absolutely have a great head coach. Zach Taylor safe, whatever. Pete Carroll out, of course. Bull should definitely get fired. Raheem Moore should definitely get fired. Jonathan Gannon should definitely get fired. Shane Steichen should stay. McDaniel should stay. McDermott should get fired. And Aaron Glenn should get fired. The fact that Aaron Glenn is safe, to me, is the most ridiculous thing in the world. Like, he's done a horrific job. And I know that people can say, look at his, staff. Look at his quarterbacks. Look at his this. Look at his that. They haven't forced an interception. Their defense is terrible. And their team stinks. Like, I don't know what else to say. How that's not partially, at least if not mostly, the head coach's fault. But the Jets are going to jet, so no need to overthink that one here. Chris Oladokun, the quarterback for the Chiefs now, 26.5 pass attempts. This looks pretty good. Let me cross-reference quickly. Chris Oladokun, who looked pretty solid last week. 26.5 pass attempts. This is EV, so this is worth betting here. Let's pull this up, and I'm going to go and bet this myself right now. Again, I do have the Raiders plus the 4.5, so hopefully this does lead to a game state where the Chiefs feel like they need to throw the football. And for any other reason, I mean, this is kind of tryouts for your backup quarterback next year, right? So I might as well have Oladokun put on a show. Let him throw the football. Let him throw the football 27 times. That's the bare minimum you can do for us, MGM, or Andy Reid, after this dog shit season, hook the boys up with a winner here and have Oladokun throw the football 27 times. Mark Andrews at 160 minus 1.5 receptions. I would not touch that at all with Mark Andrews and his inconsistency and his drops in big games. But we got Schultz showing EV here at Hard Rock 250. If you have Hard Rock, this is an absolute no-brainer of a bet. Burrow anytime. Higgins still showing at 365. Schultz, Higgins. Okay, so not a ton of anything new popping up here. So let's take a look. We have the DK touchdown boost. That's TD only. I definitely want to get in on that Jettis. I don't care if it's a 2-leg parlay on that Jefferson that's only like minus 150 if both legs are, good to market, because I think that Jefferson is definitely going to hit that over 50 plus for that milestone, not incentive. Jamar Chase anytime plus minus 110 at Fanatics. I'll actually pull that up quickly. Um, Browns Bengals, good timing. Jamar Chase, minus 115. That already moved, it looks like. At Fanatics. That 110 was a very short live, the 4-minute live on that 110. Yeah, bro, just moved to 115. 4 minutes. I mean, that's we've obviously seen quicker than that, but that is always quick as it gets there. So Bengals defense obviously poor. We got Shadur Sanders, running points. The 115 does still look good to market though if you didn't get into the 110. Obviously not as good, but still good to, circa Kalshi, Novig. So let's go game by game. We've got to find 3 legs for this DraftKings touchdown boost. Now we'll kind of probably do some like heavily implied probability. We'll do a bunch of chalk. And I think that's going to start with Bijan. I'm not going to lie here. Even though it's 180, like we are going to be boosting. Needs to be minimum 3 legs, but Bijan is, I think, worth it. It's a 30% boost on a 3-leg touchdown score parlay. We also have a 30% live TD boost, Steelers touchdown boost, and that looks like all I got for DraftKings today. But I'm adding Bijan to that. Major chalk, of course, but I think that even with the boost, we'll be kind of on market. It'll still just end up being a good bet, and we want to get some chalk going for that as well. Now let's see. Bengals, Browns, Jamar Chase. Well, Chase Brown's 130, 125. Back to Jamar Chase, 125. So this will be EV. I'm good with ripping straight chalk plus like 1 leg that isn't chalk. So I'm going to add Jamar Chase to that. So Bijan, Jamar. Now we're gonna definitely be able to find like a fun one that's out of kind of out of pocket here per se. Yeah, Packers, Vikings, just nothing, barely anything listed. I mean, 365 only. So we'll just pretend that game doesn't exist for now. Though we will bet that Jefferson. Cowboys, Giants. This total's high. I think it's in 50s. This total is 50, 49.5. So they're expecting some scoring here. Penny seems to be sitting out the anytime touchdown odds. I mean, listen, bro. Yeah, it's annoying. It is what it is. They are definitely leaving out some anytime TD odds. Circa is as well. That's why like this week is always going to be, a good week for being on top of things early, streaming right before kickoff now. Like we'll see what we could find, but I'm not surprised. I'm like looking at just the odds even on this Giants Cowboys game. It's just nothing. Chase back to 110. I don't think that's like meaningful in the sense of like I wouldn't bet it because of that movement. I would still definitely bet that. But Giants tank game, Titans Jags. Now Cam Ward could be our non-chalk leg here, but I mean, look at what we're dealing with here, man. It's just not a ton of odds being offered. Tony Pollard 210, 220 though at FanDuel. It's just tough out here. Well, which is not less than expected. This is actually exactly what's been expected here, for at least should have been expected. Back to this game, Texans, they're not pricing anything circa penny bookmaker. Jets, Bills, nada. Lions, Bears, all right, maybe now we could find something. I mean, St. Brown is always a good look. What are they giving Jahmyr Gibbs? Are they just going to somehow be giving us a discount? I mean, 150. We're going for the chalk here for this boost. I'm going to add some Gibbs. Now we need one more leg. We can go non-chalk for this, but I'm going by the book for this boost. 3 chalky legs that are good to circa or good to market. And then we'll find a bigger leg here. So right now, currently, we've got 2 boosts, the 30% touchdown. We got some work to do on getting to 10-1, which can be solved pretty quickly by just finding 1 leg that's good. Or I should say 1 leg that's plus money. Everything like that we're betting is good, but 1 leg to kind of maximize it here. Chiefs, Raiders, Genty, minus 110 plus 105. Kelsey 250 to market. This is the answer right there. Obviously, Olajuwon, we don't know if Kelsey, this is his last game. I feel like there's no way this is the last game, so I don't want to even put that like narrative out there. I do just think that he would get a good amount of like the target share, honestly. But that's what I'm going with. Accidentally crossed it out, but it doesn't matter. So Bijan, Jamar, Travis Kelce, and Jahmyr Gibbs. So we're going chalk, then some. But that is the way to go about these boosts. And we're really not being dealt a great hand here, unfortunately. All right, well, that's a good use for that there. All right. Let's see what we got on FanDuel again one more time. And I'm actually very curious. I'm going to find out what to bet that Jefferson with, because that Jefferson 50 plus receiving yards, like I really feel strongly that that's a player they're gonna pepper and let him get to that 1K mark. Jazz doesn't need an extra 100K with that fat contract. It's not about that. It's about Jefferson being the guy he is. The Vikings probably clinching a winning record. They have gotten steamed in the market big time. We'll go from there. Do you have a usual time? Yeah, bro. I've been actually very good with my timing this NFL season. It was Mondays and Thursdays at 7 p.m., Wednesdays at 7 p.m., Sundays at 10:30 a.m. I've toward the back end been a little slow, but with the NFL season ending, brother, I'm going to have to adjust the schedule. I'm going to be doing, of course, some more NBA. Keeping this Sunday stream slot 10:30 a.m. So next Sunday I'll be here 10:30. Got to confirm with my other time. So I'll get, I guess, a tweet out as well as like a YouTube post to like solidify my stream schedule for the next, like I'd say 3 months or so with NFL coming down and NBA. But I actually have been pretty consistent. So subtle flex for my own personal, I don't want to say ego per se. And obviously I'm still basically kidding, but yeah, it did feel good to like get the schedule going and stick to it pretty solidly there. So let's go back to the EV and keep looking. But I got to figure out the NBA, because I want to be doing NBA streams on the days where there's, the most NBA games out there. I know they sometimes put up their 2 games. With the NFL, it's more fun because we can bet first touchdowns. Yes, we can bet first baskets and things like that, but I haven't figured out my favorite, I won't say like method, but I guess like the process is the better way to put it for first touchdown stuff or first basket stuff. The first touchdown process we have going down pretty solidly here. All right, so let's keep searching. Let's go back to the touchdown screen here. Appreciate you, bro. Like that means so much to me, Anthony. I really do appreciate that. Really, thank you so much. This is the start. I have so much planned for 2026, bro. Like, I have a video I need to shoot tomorrow and go out Tuesday. I have 2 ideas I need to script. I have a bunch of short form stuff I have scripted. So it's going to be a big year on YouTube. We're hopefully seeing some big growth here, and also trying to figure out some community aspects to bring to you guys as well, so we can, get a community going. But I just want to see some EV on my screen. And so far, we bet this Oladokin. This Ward's still flashing. Hard Rock Schultz looks good, though. I don't know. I think Schultz is obviously going to get peppered with targets today with no Nico Collins, and just because he does get peppered with targets pretty frequently. Nakua receiving yards. Now, Puka, this is going to be interesting. This, I'm assuming, is specifically a leader play. Because of how many yards is Puka behind JSN? He is behind by 150 something yards. So he's probably not going to pass him. But if anyone could put up 150 and not blink, we know it's Puka Nakua. So I don't know. JSN obviously played yesterday. That's his final total for the season, 1793. So I don't know. Could be tough. I think they'll probably want to try to get Puka that number, but of course his health is more paramount for the stretch run. Schultz on catches. I hate that I love this. I literally just said that. Like, I don't know. I think it might get peppered, especially with Nico not playing. But this is still, first of all, it's good to market. And that's 125 with Hard Rock. So for Hard Rock, you can bet this there. Let's see. Is this worth betting? I think it is worth betting. So even at 107 at Penny, I think it's still good. Yes, again, we are fading the opposite side of the news, which I'm always cool with, right? Like if we're thinking we're going to be getting a discount, something that's been going on for a while, it's worth mentioning here. We got EV on that. Cousins, beautiful. Oladokin hasn't moved yet, but this Schultz, we're getting in on. So I have a future on the Texans to win the South. Now, it was a great timing, and I think this is kind of a think in a sense of bad beat. I'm curious your guys' thoughts because bad beat obviously I feel like has a bit of like a two-folded sentiment per se. Like obviously, like Rams Eagles week 3 or whatever it was, losing Rams spread on a block kick at the last second to bring it back for a touchdown. That is undeniably a bad beat. But is it also still a bad beat where I had a future where I needed the Texans to win basically every game, which they have done. I needed the Jaguars to lose literally 2 games, and they lost 1, and that's it. So the team that I bet on did everything that they could in their power to cash my bet, and all I needed was one more loss, and again, it can happen today for the Jaguars to blow it, but the Jags just didn't do it. So I feel like that's still a pretty good bet all in all. So what I actually did just to make it juicier, if it does end up working, is I actually bet a lay of Texans money line and Jaguars money line, and Titans money line, very small risk, just to get to a point where if that does happen, I'm winning a bet and I'm winning a pretty big future. So trying to make it a bit sweeter and lose a bit less if it doesn't hit, then I lose a couple more bucks. But I bet money line, fam. I took Kami's money line. Points probably the smart thing. You're getting 3.5 over a field goal. Yes, the backups are rolling in heavy for the Birds, and I think that the Birds backups can definitely still give the Commanders some problems. But all in all, I think that this is actually a Kami spot. The Birds haven't been really kind of proving that they're that much. Like I know that the Birds are obviously still very good. This London is new. Hold on, but I did bet the Commies actually on the money line. That doesn't look so good, honestly. Packers and actives, by the way, a quick read. Now, the Vikings, they had gotten steamed so heavily, and this is definitely why. Josh Jacobs, Malik Willis, Xavier McKinney, Edwin Cooper, Quay Walker, Zach Tom, Dontavian Wicks. Obviously, Jordan Love. Well, Jordan Love, I guess, is the emergency backup third quarterback. But damn. That's no bueno. That is the situation. That's why the Vikings have gotten ballooned out to where they were. But I'm going to add this Jefferson to a bet slip, and we'll figure out what we combine that with. No, so I actually did the opposite, brother. I didn't hedge. I doubled down. I didn't like fully double down where I put the same amount of risk, but I did bet Texans and Titans money line at 7-1, and I put a little bit more risk on. So if that happens and the Texans win the AFC South, then I'm in for a fat payday. If they lose, then my loss is just a little bit bigger. So I did not hedge. I actually doubled down at this point because I bet at 7-1. So I'm getting the same exact price on the same bet that I took. I just went for a little bit more. No, I definitely explained that poorly. My brain's going in 10 places. I swear. From not streaming for 6 days after being streaming for 4 days a week for the entirety of the season, I swear, like I'm coming back and I'm like, why am I like not good at streaming anymore? Why can't I like think anymore? But we got to settle back in, boys. Which we will be doing because we are now in the new year. We are back on the full-time grind, no days off. This Jettis keeps moving. What's going on here? Am I clicking the wrong buttons? I probably was. But I'm adding the Jefferson to my bet slip because I don't care, again, if we find another, like, very highly priced bet. If we're getting, like, around even money and both of these bets are still good. Like, I'm, again, hate saying the word free square, gonna act like that's a true story, but I would actually be beyond surprised if they're not just peppering him with targets like I mentioned. So this Caleb, we got some EV right there, and this Jefferson, we'll find something to make this a little bit better. Falcons -4 even. I know that's a good bet just from what I saw the market at. So if you want to get on some Falcons, that's definitely the move there. And honestly, let's even just like mess around here. Like the Vikings, the steam that they've gotten has been ridiculous. And now what are they up to here? It's -650. So like this is going to be juicy enough. I don't want to be laying 220 on that. I mean, that's also an SGP. I didn't consider that either. But this Jettis is definitely getting to a slip somewhere. Like, I'm just curious what it would be the Bills. Now it's 208, 25 cents off difference there. Definitely not building out just a massive chalk leg because that's not ideal. I want to hopefully only keep it to 2 legs, max 3 on a Jefferson back for that incentive or milestone, I should say. Cam Ward still flashing. Gibbs, Oladokin still there. A lot of the other stuff that we bet is gone already, which is great. So that means we got some great numbers. Chase Brown still hanging out into the 3%. So we'll stay away from now. Back to the touchdown, see what everything's popping. Schultz still popping now with T. Higgins. If you're Hard Rock better, yes, it's only 1.5%, but this is still worth messing around and betting. Absolutely. And I'm loading FanDuel on my phone. What do we have on FanDuel again from a bonus perspective? 2 rewards. Any NFL event, 3-leg parlay, then a Ravens SGP for tonight. So we'll definitely be taking advantage of that as well. Let me get some underdog going. See if there's any more news piling in. London, Pitts, Mooney all active. Chubb inactive. Lane Johnson to return to the playoffs. That's obviously big. All right. Nico Collins won't play. We know that. Teams doing background work on Phillip Rivers to be an NFL head coaching candidate. The boy going from the high school ranks to playing 3 games. Another note, so Falcons game day status report. Atlanta Falcons inside linebacker Ronnie Harrison has been added to the game status report as out with an illness. Falcons quarterbacks Kirk Cousins and defensive lineman David Onyemata woke up this morning ill, but will not have any game time designations and will play today. So some illnesses going around in Atlanta there, Faust. Clearly playing. Oh, insane value. Cousins clearly playing, and the market's still showing them some love, but there is some injury news, some illness news to take into consideration for the Falcons there. But yes, the Vikings -10 has become a fantastic play, and I'm annoyed that I don't have any skin in that game here. I want total. What am I clicking? Spread. The Vikings just keep getting shot up in price. Yeah, 12.5 now. Damn. Congrats, Saints +4 to hedge. Absolutely. If you want to. I mean, that's the thing is I don't know if it's necessary because I think that the illness stuff's clearly priced in and the market still bet them. I mean, I'll look at my other odds screen that's open and just watch and see if there's buyback. But right now, it doesn't seem as if there is any. That 4 is still hanging out all over the place. But what would I combine the Jefferson with? Now, I know this is not getting us to a 10-1. This is kind of be like one of those 2-leggers that's like around even money, some 10 to 10K challenge type situation. -220 for that. Vikings money line, Jettas 50+. Okay. Let's go back to props here. Looking like any money coming as we speak. No, Buffalo took some money today as well. So it could be like a really full chalk kind of scenario there if you want to get into that. MGM. Let's pull up EV screen. Travion Henderson rush attempts over. That's plus money there at Novig. Again, nothing really refreshing straight off the top here. Something I want to do too is I want to look at FanDuel, see if there's any like fun markets for today, like most receiving yards, stuff like that, and see if we can find some fun. Being the last with the regular season, do you think this might be a good spot to take alt spreads or totals? Absolutely, honestly. So I wouldn't be going out of my way to like fade the market, which I was talking about before, but I think that just like any week in the NFL, which we've hit a couple of times on, when you do have like conviction about a spread being off, that you can like take advantage of that situation. I think week 18 is absolutely one where you can do that as well. Like for example, I took the Raiders plus the 4.5. If I wanted to be crazy and like even take them like -2.5, that's probably worth it, honestly. So I do think that if there's a game right now that you're like feeling really confident that a team has like given up, or you know about like they are playing their backups confirmed, like Miami, for example, you think that they're really just mailing it in, then I think absolutely you can look at some fun stuff for week 18 and some more plus chicken there. But looking up see weekly specials, so this is all just like the pre-made ones that are never good. Division stake odds. It's hilarious. No, they're keeping it light, and I'll definitely be doing a big futures stream this week. It'll probably be with Jake when we're doing like our every game of the playoffs breakdown. We'll definitely break down like our entirety of what the bracket should be. But obviously with line shop futures odds. But no, they're doing everything in their power, the books today, to just like limit their exposure, which is understandable and expected, but is annoying from our perspective because we're just trying to, bet. So like no fun markets, even in a game like this, most rushing yards, most receiving yards, nothing like that. Um, Worth checking the Steelers Ravens because if any game would have it, it would be this one, but they probably don't even feel the need to post these numbers today. Yeah, there's still clearly a bigger menu all in all, but nada. Nada. I also think that like there's definitely a touchdown leg out there of like backups that is worth betting. Like absolutely. What is it going to be and where? I think we still are going to find out in the next hour, realistically. But I think that there is going to be a nice like deeper down the board. Like let's look at even the Dolphins, for example. Waddle and HN, neither of them are suiting up today. If I'm not mistaken, I saw that right. I'm like 99% positive I saw that, but I might as well confirm. Yes, Schefter 4 hours ago. Okay. So then who is playing? Greg Dulcich has played well. Patriots still want to win this game, if I'm not mistaken here. But Dulcich is somebody who I'm interested in. But again, his number is already 42.5. MGM's the only place showing it, unless everything is lower than 42.5. But is this really the only? Yeah. MGM is the only book that is showing odds for Dulcich to have receiving yards. That is crazy to me. With that being said, his touchdown odds are up. And I mean, we have Patriots first quarter, so I don't want first touchdown. I want anytime touchdown. 380. I mean, I actually kind of like this. I'm not gonna lie. The 380 for Dulcich here. Who else do they have now from just like Malik Washington? Maybe get some more targets, but his ADOT's still low. I'd rather have Dulcich. I'm gonna put together a little bit of a lay here. Dulcich 380. Let's build up a let's build out a lay of some like backups, and we'll take a small risk on it. Just kind of keep it fun. I mean, we have the FanDuel boost, so we'll build it out on both sports books, but obviously it'll probably more likely have better value on FD with the boost, which is the goal here. But definitely gotta get some fun stuff going for today and just kind of call it. But Dulcich being one of them, I think is absolutely worth it. Now I'm gonna look at some totals too and see like where markets are expecting. This total I'm sure is low, but not 45.5, 46, not too low. All right, so Dulcich is definitely a guy deeper down the depth chart that I could see having some success. Now, Commanders, Eagles too. What's Terry McLaurin? 330. Now that's gonna be good with the boost. Terry just gets targeted so frequently. What's Bill? 130, but not good to like the rest of the market. And what's C-Rob? I'm guessing he's not playing then if Bill's there. Or I guess they're anticipating Bill taking over the snaps. I think that's probably like a tough assumption. Let me look at the commies beat writer quickly and see what the news is. He hasn't tweeted all morning, bro. What are you doing? I know that game's at 4:00, but check another one quickly. Chris Paul injury report, questionable with an illness. That's the only tweet from today, so nothing about the commies going on. But Terry McLaurin, 330. I'm adding that to a FanDuel bet slip here. So Dulcich and Terry, 330. Now, what's another team that I think has some fight and isn't going to necessarily just roll over and die, or still needs some love now? I think a Jaguar could be a good move here. Even just ETN at this point, like get like a chalky final leg. ETN. Oh, he's 210 though. That's not worth it. I mean, it's actually it probably is because it's the same circle price. Let's go back here. Let's just add that ETN, see what we're dealing with. Let's see. TD scores 28-33 with the boost is gonna be much bigger. I'm locking this in. Hopefully, ETN's a free square here in a sense, and then we have the McLaurin. Well, I mean, they'll FanDuel doesn't have the Jefferson freaking anytime, which is so annoying. The Jefferson 50 plus. They're like preventing people from betting that, which is ridiculous. But let's do this touchdown. Greg Dulcich, Terry McLaurin. Let's see, I gotta build it out manually on my phone. TD scores, Terry McLaurin. They're gonna pepper him with targets. I know Debo from the incentive for the incentive boys that he needs like a bunch of touches today, but I don't think that they're gonna be able to get Debo those kind of touches. And like Debo, especially with his A dot, like has to come out on the catch and run. Asking for a lot, in my opinion, here. Plus 28-33 with the boost, plus 37-48 here for this three-legger. But I'm in on Terry, ETN, Dulcich. Very nice. All right. Okay, beautiful. See what else is popping up and flashing. Any other games taking money? No, it seems like that was a big money drop at like 11. And it has slowed down a bit. The start of the stream, big money coming in on some spreads and some total money also. Cam Ward still showing. Mark Andrews, Chase Brown still been there. 125 to Penny and FanDuel, but Bookmaker's 127, so I don't love that. Don't think it's that good. Let's see where there's any first touchdowns to look at now. I want to look at even last year. Like I'm curious, like who was Vikings went down to 375 on the money line. I mean 675 on the money line. All right. Player prop, first touchdown. See if they're even giving out some odds. And I don't know if like last year, if it was like the random guys, quote unquote, who were coming in and scoring, or if it was sticking to like the chalk. But let's see what's being offered. Browns Bengals, we're seeing some. Okay. Chase Brown, of course, chalk. Jamar Chase, of course, also chalk. But what's his name? Where's Mike Gesicki? Is he playing today? He is. 17-1, so not really good to market there. Noah Fant, 30-1. Fannin not playing, I know. It's going to be tough to bet a brownie here. Obviously, the Bengals nothing to play for, but the Bengals nothing to play for might as well be the freaking Patriots dynasty we saw the last couple of weeks. Joe Burrow taking out his anger on some of these bad teams, which he has another chance to do today. Of course, divisional matchup, but this Yoshi Vash actually is really good. This 20-1 at the score to 15-1 at circa. Yoshi Vash has definitely gotten a bit more targets and has been playing a lot. From a pricing perspective, it looks like Yoshi Vash for the non-chalk, like Fant. I mean, we could check. Let's just take a quick look here at some stats on what the last 3 weeks with Burrow have looked like from a passing perspective. Obviously, Jamar getting peppered. We missed some time with, T got hurt as well. Jamar got suspended, so there were some opportunities in there. But let's just look at the last couple of weeks and see really what the situations look like for the Bengals in the passing game here. Because obviously we know who's getting a lot of love, but let's see who's worth taking a look at maybe down the board. So Chase Brown and Jamar, I mean, that's just ridiculous numbers. If you can't read that, let me zoom in a bit. Hopefully you guys can read. There we go. 36 targets for Jamar and 14 for Chase Brown the last 3 weeks. That's just hilarious. Let's even add another week here. 44, bro. Gesicki 14, Yoshi Vash 11. So I'm looking at PTO quickly. Gesicki, pricing wise, the same as Circa, but definitely more targets all in all than Yoshi. End zone targets, Brown. Gesicki leading. Yoshivash, none. Get another week here. We'll look at snap percentage too. That's obviously important. Because yeah, Drew Sample. That was before Gesicki. Oh, Gesicki was playing, but Sample's still getting some love. So let's take out week 13 and see, because I didn't see Sample before. No, he is still playing 56% of the snaps. Gesicki only 39.7, but he is getting, again, end zone targets and even full season. Yoshivash 4, Gesicki 6 with 3 touchdowns. I'm going Gesicki first touchdown. MGM has a second chance bonus, so if you can get enough down there, you're better off just betting at MGM, just in case you can get a bonus bet. But if not, that DK is good as well. We got value on that Schultz, which is beautiful. But Mike Gesicki, first touchdown it is. First TD score. Mike Gesicki. Actually, before I lock that in, Perine. What's his pricing? 13-1 circa. Okay, so it's not really grid to circa, but Perine's interesting just because he does take away a lot of snaps from Brown. Like Brown is just really, he's a great player. He's a great weapon, and they use him in a lot of different ways. But with that being said, Perine does take a lot of just like straight carries from him as well. So, all right, I locked in Mike Gesicki for this first touchdown in this game here. Let's see what else if we're getting offers. I'm surprised you saw as much offered. Not even going to check Packers, Vikings, Cowboys, Giants either. Titans, Jags. Now we know that this is chalk. We looked at it briefly already. Texans, Colts. Alec Pierce already showing some love. Kalshi on some Kirk. Again, Nico Collins here, but again, we're not seeing anything from the big boys, and no need to throw money away. We're going to be betting first touchdowns for the next 4 weeks, so we can't forget that. With the playoffs, Jets, Bills, nada. Lions, Bears, like so minimal on pricing. Chargers, Broncos, pretending this game doesn't even exist with Herbert not playing and being a backup game. Chiefs, Raiders. Any chance we're getting the value on Genty? No shot in hell. It's just not a lot of stuff to use, man. I mean, Rams, Cardinals, Corum at 11-1 is actually interesting. Where is Kyren at a curiosity compared to Corum? So Kyren is full chalk. Corum is not. I think Corum getting some burn here in the first half could not. Isn't that far-fetched? Higbee has been getting a lot of red zone targets. Trey McBride at 14-1, getting a number 1 weapon at 14-1. I know that things haven't gone well. Is there something I'm missing with Brissett, by the way? He's playing, right? I know he's obviously not great, but did I miss something? I don't think so. No. Okay. I'm gonna lock in, I think, that Trey McBride. Yeah, I'm betting this. Trey McBride. Guys had a historic tight end season. Cap it off for the boys on the BetSmart stream with a beautiful first touchdown. Obviously, 14.5-point dogs. Rams still coming for a big-time win here. But leave it to Jacoby Brissett to play some spoiler here. Oh, we have a 20% all-purpose boost. What is this? Okay, a boost on any bet. Not going to use it on this, but that's good to know that we have a boost on DK now. So we could find one more first touchdown throughout the slate. And we'll definitely bet both sides for tonight. So let's pivot quickly. Let's look at the Steelers game for tonight. Let's look at the Steelers game. Let's see. All right. Obviously, the game of the day. Sunday Night Football. Winner will be playing playoff football. So we did technically have a playoff game to end the season tonight here. Half Steelers plus 3.5. First touchdown here. Circa showing prices, which is always a good thing. Jaylen Warren, 10-1 Circa. Next, Kenny G. 10-1 also Circa. Okay. DK obviously not playing with the suspension. DK Metcalf will not be in the lineup here. Other first touchdown potential. What's MVS? So MVS, he was getting targeted so frequently, despite being just bad. Now they were kind of using him in the DK role with the fades and like the end zone target. Now, what's his anytime? Because he was just getting thrown to so frequently. 4-1. This is a good bet. Looking at Penny Circa, not that great to FanDuel. I'm betting that MVS straight. They were literally doing everything. They were like force feeding him the football in that corner, like he's Puka Nacua or JSN or Justin Jefferson. Obviously didn't end up working out there, but this 4-1 honestly seems pretty good. Let me look at the boost that we have. So we get parlay boosts on both FanDuel and DraftKings. Could definitely put together like a crazy, not crazy, but like a high leg. This is a 30% 3-leg boost, and on FanDuel, it is a 25% 3-leg boost. All right, so let's find 3 more legs here. MVS touchdown, I like as a big plus money leg. Passing yards here. Let's look at Rodgers. Obviously, limited weaponry here. 200 at 134. I kind of like that. So let me add that. Passing props. Rodgers, 200, 134 was actually good to market. 625. So we need one more leg for this beautiful banger here. Can definitely go something a bit lower. What's say Flowers receptions? I know it's Huntley, don't get me wrong. 4.5 juiced to oblivion here. Passing yards. Let's go back to Lamar. What am I talking about? Huntley. Lamar. I kind of like the Flowers. I was looking at PTO quickly, but I kind of like this Flowers here. So just receptions, 5+ for Flowers is 154, but over 4.5 here I think is better. Receptions, 153 to so the same price, 154, so 153. That's 10-1. I like this. Even with all the injuries going on, I think that Rodgers is still gonna, I would say, ball out per se. But I think Rodgers, like, I'm not ready to say, like, I know Rodgers obviously been like kind of bad for the last couple of years. Don't get me wrong here, but I'm not ready to say that Rodgers is like cooked and it's over. 13-1 for this. I feel like it should be a bit better. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm locking that in. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but someone's car has been going off outside me, just beeping like it's getting stolen, and I don't know what's going on. All right, but that's one SGP down for tonight's game. MVS touchdown. Zay Flowers over 4.5 receptions, and Aaron Rodgers 200+ passing yards. That's a nice SGP for tonight's game. First touchdown. Do we bet Lamar? No. We don't bet Lamar. Let me guess with the King. Massive chalk. Massive chalk for the King. Zay Flowers. I mean, 10-1 for Flowers. The DK is not looking too bad. WR1 at 10-1. Always looks good. And it's good to Circa. All right. Drake London under catches here. This is new. 123. Novig Penny. Hold on. Let's take a look here. London. 7.8% it says. I feel like it's probably not as high as that, honestly. Only the weight of 2 books, too. It's probably 5.5 at more shops also. It is 5.5 at some shops, so I don't think it's actually that good, honestly. Oladokin, Mark Andrews, that's been big. I don't know, boys. We have a pretty loaded card for all things considered here. Not like massively loaded, but we do have some good stuff bet. A lot of game lines today. Definitely our most game lines in a while. But like I mentioned, I was I'm proudly chasing some steam today on these game lines and not really thinking twice on some of them. And we've gotten value on every prop that we've taken so far. We'll see if it closes that way. King Henry Fanatics 120. Yeah, this is a bet. Where did this come from, though? This just reopened at 135. What's FanDuel been doing? From 140. We obviously have time here, but this 120 at Fanatics is definitely good for King Henry anytime touchdown. That's some chalk that's worth playing there. Okay. So T. Higgins also showing up here, 1.1%. 155. Yeah, if you're a hard rock better, the T. Higgins is also very good to market as well. Season wrapped up. Is there NBA today? Yeah, some NBA. We can definitely do some NBA stuff too if we want to mix it up here, but we are coming down to the wire of the final week of the NFL season here, boys. This is it. This is truly it. So many games that just mean nothing to nobody by any means necessary. With that being said, I'm definitely intrigued by, again, finding something to pair that Jefferson with. I really do think it could just be like, even though we're laying 220, like Vikings money line, Jefferson 50 plus, like could just be it. Let's go back to to DK specifically here. I know it's probably going to be the ugliest bet of all time, but with that being said, I really am loving that Jetta's over 358. Again, game lines. This is what, 220. Now, if we even add some nonsense like Texans, no, like Jags, 161. No, I'm rooting against the Jags today, so I can't do it. The Bills, 152. The Jets are so freaking bad. Patriots are minus 1,000, 145. What do I even do with this? Justin Jefferson wanting to back here. I'm not expecting again to get that to like a sexy number here. It's more about what's actually good. And honestly, the 220, the more that I'm like thinking about it, does seem like it's fine. I'm not gonna lie. The minus 220. Because I'm not laying the 300 on just that. And I know, again, because of all the Vikings love in the market, I feel comfortable like chasing that steam. Not like, oh, I'm an idiot. I'm chasing like all this nonsense steam, like what's real, what's not. We saw the Packers report. It's bad. I'm betting this, honestly. I can't do math. What am I doing? I bet it. Minus 220. Jefferson, 50 plus receiving yards. Vikings money line. It's probably the ugliest play I've taken all season long. Definitely the most juice on a play I've taken all season long. And it's still a two-leg lay, but I bet it. Vikings and Jettas. I'm like, that's how like I must say like so confident, but I am. Especially with the way FanDuel's like gatekeeping it. I think that it's still worth it, honestly. I think that's actually even some proof there. But I just laid the 220 boys, Vikings, money line, Jefferson, 50 plus receiving yards. Get Jettas to 1K and win a football game against a team that is gearing up for next week. I think the Vikings can definitely get their record to 500. I think that we're going to see all the AFC North or the NFC North teams all over 500. 3 of them in the offs there, or 2 of them in the offs. With the Lions, of course, not making it. So 2 of them in the offs. Let me just look. I'm at the computer. Let me just look at the standings one more time and just confirm here. All right. So Patriots, they're locked in as the division winner. The Bills are fighting for some seeding. Steelers, Ravens, we know winner is in the playoffs. Texans win and Jaguars lose. Texans are the AFC South champs. Jaguars win no matter what. They are the AFC South champs. Denver clinched as the West champs, and the Chargers are clinched in the playoffs, as we know. Eagles clinched as the East. Bears clinched the North. Seattle clinched the West and the 1 seed. Now the Rams are fighting for spot over The Niners, the Packers seem to be locked in at that last seed, right? At 9-6-1. They are. Okay, so that all makes more sense to me. Okay. Take a quick look at the standings to refresh. So yeah, no wonder the Cardinals are really 14.5-point dogs. Nothing popping. Nothing popping. All right, let's see if Prime Sports has tweeted out a Sharp versus Pros versus Joe's report. Very curious on what those normally are, though I think we've seen what it mostly is with how the numbers have moved. But here we go. Notable Sharp action. Broncos minus 11.5. Obviously, that number's been moved. Vikings minus 7. Obviously, that's a 12.5. Rams minus 7.5. Obviously, that's 14.5. Seeing the pros around the Jets and the Bills are on, and the Joes are on the Bills, and the Colts. The pros are on the Colts. Texans are for the Joes. Now we have the Colts, so hopefully that works out there. Pros and Joes unite on Bengals and Broncos. Yeah, no, nothing noteworthy there. All right, let's see what we got here. Anything else popping up new? Nada. I'm curious to see if we're gonna see like an influx of moves like in the next like 30 minutes or so. Because I think most things are out there, but I think we can still get some like late scratches, some guys who weren't expected to play all in all. But let's see if we can find some touchdowns deep down the board here. Anyone, if you have any touchdown guys you want to see, like call them out, some like third stringers, like let me know in chat. We'll pull up their odds and we'll lock in there. Like Cowboys Giants, let's see what they're even offering here on touchdown odds. First touchdowns we know are shot, but let's see if they're even giving us anything here. Like Dak, I mean, not the best one to look at, but there's Dak, Pickens. Okay, so we are getting odds here. Pickens 135. Nothing at FanDuel though. And CD Lamb, is he playing today? He is. 110. I kind of like Pickens. Did Dart, Kelsey, and Alec Pierce for that boost. I love that. We can obviously Dart's been running it in the entirety of his brief NFL career, which he's got to chill out on. I mean, prices are he's at a freaking RB1 in a tough matchup price because he really is running it that often. And Alec Pierce, I saw Pierce looked good for a first touchdown. He's just been deep ball down the field, throw it up to Pierce. Again, so crazy with FanDuel, like not even being willing to take some of this action without posting up prices. But love that for that DK TD boost. That's like a big one here. See down the board here. Like, okay, we could even do this, right? Let's go to FTN. I'm gonna zoom back out because it's harder for me to see when it's zoomed in like that. But if you guys want to see, zoom in, but I'll be reading out everything. I kind of want to look at who's been getting a lot of burn throughout the course of the season, but hasn't done crap with it. Like that's what I'm curious with. Like who is getting I want to look at targets. Let's see who's been on the field but not productive, because there's like two options I'm seeing here. Like, so somebody who hasn't played at all, who's going to be getting some burn, they can get some, a ball thrown to them, or also the potential for somebody who has been, like there for their team all season, and they might just throw a touchdown pass to it. Honestly, that just brought up to me a quick name here. What's John Bates? Because he is always on the field here. Very rarely targeted. See, he should be better than 10-1. That's my problem here. Let's even search. I'm going to pull up FTN again quickly here. John Bates, 14 games, 42% of snaps, only 14 targets. He is the pass catching tight end. The blocking tight end, one of the best in football. Any chance they sprinkle him with a red zone target? I mean, none in the end zone this year. He's got 14 all freaking season. But like a guy like John Bates comes to mind. I'm going to add these guys to bet slips just to like keep them top of mind. But that's somebody who comes to mind on the Commanders. Let me scroll through some teams here. Like who has been doing the dirty work or who has been kind of like ramping up a bit and is showing some potential. Broncos want that win for the 1 seed, of course. Um, let's see, Lions, Bears, of course, Jets, Bills, Chiefs, Raiders. We have some Kelsey for that, so we're good there. Um, Packers, Vikings. Okay, let's see. Like, what is Jefferson? Because I feel like Jefferson in our entire thesis here, like Jefferson at 135. That to me is still honestly interesting here. So I'm going to add that to a bet slip. Even though we have that Jefferson 60 plus, I still think again he's somebody who has like a bit underperformed that could definitely be in for a day where they are, intentionally peppering and are trying to get him to score. Now, who's somebody who's been, let's see, let's even back this up a bit. Who's somebody who the last couple of weeks here has just been seeing some upticks and are younger guys who could be getting a bit more love here? Let's see. Last couple of weeks, some targets, obviously, Olave, like Wandale, CD. So CD's interesting because they might want to get him in the end zone on, a last ditch effort note here. CD, let's see, anytime touchdown. 110, and again, nothing from FanDuel. I'll just add that DraftKings. I'm not betting these straight. I'm going to try to find a nice lay to configure these in. If there's something that's really plus money, like the really plus money, like what we know with the like John Bates, that would be straight. Tesla, Lad, Valdez Scantling, we were talking about already. Dallas Goddard, Gatson. Okay, and let's even check rushing. Does not need to be receiving. And also let's add another week in here. Like guys who are really coming up the last couple of weeks here, maybe younger or maybe even like a vet who's just been dominating. So CMC obviously played. Chase Brown, Kyron, Bill. Bill already comes to mind here. Now I know C-Rod had his injuries, that wasn't necessarily just Bill taking over the backfield or anything like that. But Chris Rodriguez, NFL. A quick Twitter search here. Latest, see if there's any injury here. No, not seeing anything on C-Rod. Even with latest, I mean, Twitter search also was just terrible, or I'm just not good at searching the right queries on Twitter here. Yeah, now I'm seeing some tweets that are not relevant to NFL. So I don't know what the hell I'm looking at. All right, back to it though. Interesting though that Bill is up that list there that high. Sean Tucker played to Reds on the last couple of weeks here. Let's see who's gotten some goal line carries, but are low on touchdowns. Did not meant to do that. Let's unpin that. Goal line carries that are high, but touchdowns are low. Sharp played, Henry, Bill, Corum is interesting. Now, obviously, they have to win the game, but it's not like Corum is out of their rotation or anything like that. He's actually pretty solidly in it. 36% snaps the last couple of weeks isn't huge. All right, so right now, guys, we're targeting to maybe do a last ditch little A here. Let's go load for me so I can read them off. Blake Corum, CD, Jettas, John Bates, and that's it. Okay, we'll keep looking. Phil Maffa, TD's team just missed out. Phil Maffa for the Cowboys, some backup action. So maybe Lamb isn't the best look there because if they're getting some steam on an RB3 or probably making his first start. I think he was on the IR. I think I have him in my dynasty team. Phil Maffa. And let's go back to receiving here. Just see again guys who have been getting some love in the end zone, but have not been scoring. Sutton always, DJ Moore, Tesla, MBS, Sean Banks played. All right, so I think this is definitely a lock for. I won't say a lock for anything. That's not what I mean to say. But I think if we go back to FanDuel here, I'd like a Corum, a Jefferson. Okay, now they're getting some odds going as those news comes in. And what is let's go back to Bill. So Bill is getting priced like he is RB1 now. Trevor Lawrence and Tootin Tutties. Sorry, I missed that Puddinhead. Yeah, I'll take a look at them as well. But with Bill, 140. Not good to Kalshi though, so I don't want to like force that. But let's look at Tootin and Trevor. I'm annoyed that I haven't bet enough Trevor Lawrence touchdown this season. Now, obviously, we're betting EV, so if it pops up at TV, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But all the reports were talking about how Liam Cohen in the beginning of the season was going to have Trevor Lawrence run so much more frequently, and didn't happen to start. People kind of forgot about it. And then what happens toward the end of the year? Trevor Lawrence now, him, Dart, and Josh Allen are the three biggest rushing touchdown quarterbacks. Tootin definitely interesting. And this 280 is good. And let's look at Trevor. I mean, I could just pull him up here, actually. Be easier. Trevor, prices are coming down. I mean, it makes sense why they are getting this low as we're sitting at, but I could definitely be interested in some Trevor anytime. Just the thing is, like, again, similar to any other game, if the Titans, if the Jaguars do go up, say 28-0 in the first half, like, yes, they still need to win no matter what, but I would definitely expect if it gets to the fourth quarter, like, just limited snaps all around for Lawrence there. But let's go back to some running backs. I think we could find like Bill being so high up this list, but from a pricing, I'm gonna go back, just look at PTL readout, but we'll stick to the FTN screen right now. Chris Rodriguez. So Rodriguez's touchdown odds are plus 165, give or take. Bill touchdown odds plus 135. But Kalshi with actually the best price there in market. Jawar Jordan. Interesting. Let's look at that, actually. Let's go look at Jawar Jordan. No Chubb. He's inactive. How do you spell Jawar Jordan? How do you spell Jawar? I lost him. Where'd he go? Jawar. I can't even get to him. All right, we'll go the old-fashioned way. I mean, Dotson actually is worth looking at too, because he's going to be getting a lot of snaps here. Anytime TD, Dotson. Take a look here, Dotson. I mean, Kami's secondary is obviously dog, but I mean, a bird to score, like, who's their RB2 now? Is it going to be? Hold on here. Shipley. What are we getting for Shipley? Okay. And where is this man? Tank is chalk like this. And I have to say, I kind of freaking love it, man. I'm not going to lie to you. Let's even pull up a quick Tank. Snaps are obviously low. Birds are locked and loaded, cannot move an inch. Already said they're playing their backups here. I'm checking quickly just to make sure that Saquon isn't listed. He's not, because he's not playing. Kami's not letting go of a touchdown, I think, would be redonkulous. And Tank Bigsby, I think, is absolutely the one who would score here. So I'm adding Tank Bigsby to this. I'm absolutely adding Tank Bigsby to this. And we have already that other bigger touchdown lay of, what was it? ETN, Dulcich, and Terry. So that's good. So Corum has gone up. Maybe we'll pass on Corum, but I think that Tank Bigsby, 1574. Let's go back to Corum and look at it. Also didn't even get a chance to double check on Jawar Jordan there. So Jordan, I can't spell. Quorum anytime. Let's move up to 185. We're getting any other market love. That's 200 there, so not worth it. And Jawar, Jordan, 285. So not really a ton of love there, all in all. Even add one more week. Don't want to go too far back because we are looking for guys who haven't even hit their full like uptick in like snaps. Guys who are like trending up now. These are gonna have some quarterbacks in there. I don't want to qualify either. Red zone rush attempts, obviously the big dogs up top. But Bill's still lingering. I mean, Bill could definitely be a worthwhile addition there. Looking for a game where, like, if nothing matters, like a team that still would play hard. I mean, Woody Marks, just them scoring even from the goal line is just asking for a lot. C-Rod's still really getting a ton of burn, like in the red zone. I've been talking about him all freaking season, especially the second half. Jalen Wright is definitely interesting. Definitely interesting. Jalen Wright, snaps. Let's take out week 14 and see if the snaps are increasing. That was 28%, 17. So no, but like last 2 weeks here for Jalen Wright. No Achane as we know. 10%. Okay. So let's check. Jalen Wright. They're right, Bigsby and Genty for FT Boost. Love that. Bigsby's awesome in this spot. I love Bigsby. I'm low-key want to play that straight. And if you did Wright as well, I mean 175, I kind of like that more than Corum. I mean, he is RB1 where there's still a fight going on, and Jalen Wright has been getting those touches. What's about Ollie Gordon? We gotta check out Gordon quickly. Okay, and I'm just checking what like last week's snaps were. He only played 5 snaps last week, so looks like the Jalen Wright show. So okay, Ollie, let's add Jalen Wright here and let's lock this in. TD scores, Jalen Wright, 15-15. That's fun. I'm locking that in. Got to rebuild it quickly. All right, Justin Jefferson anytime. Tank Bigsby anytime. TD score. Tank Bigsby. TD score. Justin Jefferson. TD score. Are those games 425? They are. Should we put? We'll put together one more of these. Honestly, this was fun to build, and I think I think our process is like kind of on point with how we're approaching this. Definitely finding guys deeper down the list, even though they're like are still chalky. Like, yeah, you would never think Tank Bigsby is plus 150, but he literally has been so good this season, even in limited snaps. And now he is getting that workload. I think that 150 is definitely a good price because we're not even having Jalen Hurts is like, tush push is taken away from that or anything like that. This is backup season. I also like Genty. I like that thought process too on Genty. Like he is still their dog, still getting all the touches. Speaking of, honestly, I might need to even add some Genty. Let's see what he's priced at. Let me already got the Raiders locked and loaded at 4.5. I'm guessing it's just major chalk. Not really. Not as bad as from a chalk perspective as I would have expected, realistically. I had a thought. What was that thought? Anybody? I want to take a look at the market one more time. Anybody else? Actually, let's go to the EV screen while we theory craft our final movements before we hop off and get ready for the final massive full Sunday sweat before we get into the playoffs, boys, which is obviously going to be sick. But we've gotten some great value on our straight props. Michael Carter here showing up. I don't know if that's if the Cirque or anything has Carter props, but that looks pretty good for a touchdown. Higgins under. We saw some good value for his overs before. Caleb, we got a good value there. Bilk touchdowns, pass touchdowns over. See, it's only 4%. I mean, it makes sense. Obviously, like his receiving core is just so bad today. Like this is EV. So it's probably worth betting, realistically. So let's do that. um, yeah, I'm betting that Shook. We have a Kirk over, we have a Shook over. We need the QBs to have a little bit of a battle here going on in Atlanta to decide the NFC South, which neither team can win, but both of these teams hold the high card in what ends up happening, which is just such a great scenario, such an NFC South scenario with how bad these teams are. Passing. And again, all the comments, like Jake and I on stream, I think it was 2 weeks ago at this point, maybe even 3 weeks ago, we were talking about who actually is better, like the Falcons or the Panthers. And both of us said we thought the Falcons are probably better. And that take has only aged better over the last couple of weeks here. I actually really love that Jefferson anytime touchdown, as well as this as well as that Tank Bigsby. I kind of want to like bet it again. Not gonna lie. But I just bet that Shook. So we're in on that Shook. Hollywood Brown. Tuden showing up now at 280, 295, but I guess that moved. Let's see. Because Tuden is definitely intriguing. Missed it. Went down to 280. Was 295 as we saw here. So the value was not there. Let me do a quick read through of what we have so far. Then we'll do probably one more look through of everything and then call it a day. But we have a pretty loaded card, boys. So Shook over 1.5 passing touchdowns. Touchdown lay of Jetta's, Tank Bigsby, Jalen Wright. Chalk play minus 220. Vikings money line, Jefferson 50 plus receiving. Touchdown parlay for Sunday Night Football. Zay Flowers 5+ receptions. Aaron Rodgers 200+ receiving yards. MVS anytime touchdown. TD heavy today is always risky, but again, when you add in like the week 18 fun factor, I think it's worth sweating. But having a bunch of TDs 100% always risky. First touchdowns: Trey McBride, Mike Gesicki. TD lay, Dulcich, McLaurin, ETN. Schultz under 4.5 catches. TD lay, Bijan, Jamar, Gibbs, Travis Kelce. Oladokin over 26.5 passing attempts. Cousins 2+ passing tutties. Patriots first quarter minus 2.5. Caleb under 1.5 passing touchdowns. Steelers was 3.5. Commies money line. Colts plus 10.5. Titans Jags under 7.5. Raiders plus 4.5. So pretty loaded card for today. Pretty nice. Let's do one more EV check here. Hollywood showing up 3-1. Swift, Lawrence, Hollywood still 295. That can't be Kyron. Kyle Williams, good deep threat. This is a great price. I mean, honestly, even this 375, I kind of like an MGM. Now, I'm not seeing anywhere near the same amount of value by any means because it's not as EV, but this 365 better. This Kyle Williams 425 is actually a really good bet, and I would definitely take a look at that. The kid is got wheels. Miami secondary is bad. Patriots still want to pour it on. I like that Kyle Williams a lot. And let's see here. I feel like we're missing something here, but let's look at the Oscar one more time. Saints, Falcons, we already have what we need here. Browns, Bengals have what we need. Packers, Vikings, we definitely have what we need. Now, any other touchdowns worth betting? I mean, EV-wise, no, there's nothing popping out. Let's do one more first touchdown look here for tonight's game so we can just have that locked and loaded. I'll go back to Zay Flowers. I mean, he hasn't scored a ton this year, but does fit our bill as good to Circa. Obviously, a lot of time for this game. On the there's their name. What's Muth? 20-1 at Circa, so that's not going to be good for our purposes. Calvin Austin, same concept. All right, so they're just dominating the pricing, Circa. Because what's his name is also out too. Darnell Washington. Kenny G, same process here where we're just not getting the value we want to Circa, which does not mean we need to bet anything, of course, but still worth noting. MBS, not the same value. Jonnu, again, not the same. I mean, this 25-1 is actually good. This is good. I'm taking Jonnu, another tight end heavy first touchdown day today, which is more than fine because we're taking some long shots that we're not expecting to necessarily get home, but we love to get home. We got value on the Jefferson, which is nice. But Jonnu, 25-1, that's what we care about. I'm betting that right now. Jonnu Smith, first touchdown. Ready, scrolling to the hypothetical matchups. TD scores, Jonnu Smith, first touchdown. Okay. All right, boys. I think we're going to call it. Fun stream. I really appreciate everybody for hopping on. I will not be streaming tomorrow, of course, because there's no Monday Night Football, but I will be definitely shooting with Jake either tomorrow, Tuesday or Wednesday, probably Wednesday, going over the entirety of the board for the playoffs, as well as talking about futures, our entire playoff bracket, exactly what we expect to happen over the course of this NFL playoffs. So make sure you guys are locked and loaded for that stream. Good luck today as well, Faust. I appreciate everybody for hopping on. Have a great rest of your day. Hit that like button. I'll see you guys on stream next week. And again, massive 2026 loading. So thank you guys for all rocking with me. I'll see you guys next time, boys. Thank you.